Hello there, welcome to Genesis Molds. My name is Bob Waldron and welcome to another video. In this video we're going to be having a inbox review. It is going to be of our brand spanking new tooled this year 2019, the Blackburn Buccaneer S.2C. It is by Airfix and it is in 1/72 scale. I would love to see this in 1/48 scale, to be absolutely honest with you. Now this kit costs around about £25 RRP. You search around, you could probably find it a little bit cheaper, but let's just dive straight in with the kit. First off, we have some canopies just here. So sorry, playing a bit of cameraman. Let's just open this up and take a look. All right, fingers crossed Airfix has got this right. So zoom you in, and what we have here is I'm just looking at this, and the canopies do seem very sort of nice and clear. I'm not seeing any of the nasty cobweb effects that you sometimes get with canopies. So looking all nice and good. Slightly I can see a little bit of scuffing, maybe just on the top of this canopy here. It's very sort of light, but it does kind of suggest there's been a little bit of rubbing in the box maybe, but a little bit of a polish up there and should sort that out, because there's no deep scratches or anything. It's just a little bit scuffed, like a little bit of a slight buff on it or something, but yeah, looking all good. Let's just jump straight into the big sprue just here. Let's put this out of the way. Our first sprue here has a good example of the actual surface detail on this kit. So looking at it, I am seeing that we've got nice recessed panel lines. Not really seeing many rivets on this kit at all, but I could also say actually the recessed panel lines a little bit sort of out of scale. They're a little bit sort of too big for 1/72 scale, but they do still look rather good. We do have a lovely Bombay just here as well. Nice detail going on in there. Moving along, we've got the top part of the fuselage section. Again, you know, we've got all sorts of lovely recessed panel line detail in there. Normally with Airfix kits I will go around with like a little needle or something and just, you know, pop in a couple of rivets just to jazz it up that little bit more. We've got our wings here with I keep forgetting what these are, these bits that stick up there, but we do have like raised bits coming up and showing off the detail. You do also, I mean, if you look kind of closely, we do have these kind of lines in the mold. I just want to sort of point out, I don't know if well you can see it on camera, but with the naked eye, maybe try this side, you can almost sort of see basically it's not like any sort of dips in the mold, or it kind of is going to affect the model. You know, once you spray over it, you're not going to see these little lines. It is basically where when the plastics are ejected in, and when they meet, if they meet at different temperatures, they can leave this little sort of line in there, but it doesn't affect the model at all. It just, you just spray over it and it disappears. Right, so bringing out a couple more of the sprues. I do believe we've got about 5 sprues in total. We do have some, I do believe this is like what we're going to see inside our engine area just here. It looks very detailed, very crisp for the scale and size, which is rather nice. Our cockpit area just here, as you can see, there is no details. I do believe with this kit it is going to be all decals, so not really any sort of raised detail or anything like that. Little bit of a shame, but you do have the decals for it, and it is 1/72 scale, so you can sort of get away with it. A little bit of detail in our wheel wells. Again, we've got to kind of keep in mind this is 1/72 scale. Landing gear just here, you know, we have got some nice detail in here, some sort of pipes just showing there and little bits here and there. Moving along, here we have We've got our crew, our pilots and stuff just in here. We can, I mean, it is 1/72 scale, so it is a bit hard to see, but I can see eyes, mouth, nose. You know, we've got all these kind of features and everything. Flash with this model is a very bare minimum. Remember, it is a brand spanking new tool. We do have our ejector seats just here, which do have seat belts molded into them. More of the ejector seat just here, which just have, you know, a nice fair amount of detail on there also. Let's bring you out a little bit. We've got all sorts of little bit of detail. We've got some hoses and pipes and tubes and stuff as well. That jazzes up like landing gear area and stuff. Right, we're looking at it, it looks quite good. Ejector pin marks, I'm not really seeing anything that's really sort of going to get in the way and mess about with sort of like the detail and give us extra work of sorting out you know, ejector pin marks and stuff. We do have our instrument display panel here. Again, you know, we've got no detail on it. It's all relying on decals. Next up, we do have the nose section. Now, the nose section, surprisingly, has ejector pin marks on them. It is kind of strange how they go off and throw ejector pin marks on one part of the model but not the rest of it, but you know, there are ejector pin marks on there and it does look good, nicely detailed on there. We do have our air brakes, you know, at the back of these Buccaneers. I've got an air brake that comes out like that, and there is a nice lovely bit of detail inside there, so that will look all nice, natural metal finish or something, or I'm not sure if it's all white, painted white or not, but should look rather cool. I think these are the air intake fans as well, which, you know, we've got some nice detail in there, and actually quite nicely as well. Inside our air intakes as well, the ejector pin marks are on the back, which is what we're not going to see. I know some older kits, they put the ejector pin marks inside where you're going to be seeing down those air intakes and you want it to be all nice and smooth and white, and that's good they haven't done that. And moving along, we have our last sprue here, which is a bunch of weapons and stuff. We've got some rocket launchers and stuff, which, you know, they've got some nice detail on there. We've got our extra fuel tanks, right, same sort of level of surface detail, some free fall bombs, and there you go for that. So moving along with a couple of instructions and the decals. The decals, if we just have a look at the decals just here. Oops, sorry, there we go. The decals, they are, you know, nicely in colour. They are, I'm assuming, are by Cartograph, right? So we've got some really good top-notch decals just there. Should work nicely well with micro, salt and set. Here are the decals for all of our cockpit area. Does look like they are nicely detailed. I would have preferred a bit better, but then I've got to kind of remember it is 1/72 scale. Nice bit of detail on all the little bits and bobs. The writing we can just about make out, right, but they are looking all good, hopefully, as you can just see there. With the instructions, we do get a nice big, nicely in colour sort of colour call out for our markings just here. Let's bring you in a little bit closer. Right, so we've got all our markings here nicely in colour, showing what we've got to spray this. Spraying it does look like it's going to be quite easy, because I mean, it's just spraying the whole model one colour. You haven't got this like top one colour, bottom the other colour. Spray the whole model, you know, pretty sort of easy. There are a few bits where, you know, leading edges and stuff, I think we've got to spray on why is it, a little bit of silver here and there, but looking good. Some nice markings just there. We've got two sets going on. Right, then we have I do believe this is going to be the stencil call out. Right, so get it the right way around. This is like all the stencils where all the little bits and bobs are going to be going there, which is rather nice. Then we go into the build itself. Well, first off, good old usual Airfix instructions, a little bit about the aircraft itself. We then move along and we start looking at the cockpit. Starting with the cockpit, looks pretty sort of standard and your usual kind of build. Followed by, with this one, we can have the wings in an open or closed position, which is really cool, nice sort of option. But with this one, we do have to cut the actual bottom part of the wing to have it in a sort of, you know, opened up kind of position on the carrier deck, which, you know, is going a bit sort of intermediate in advance, because you've got to cut down a straight line. So some of you sort of beginner guys, you might want to sort of just stick with it being wings nice and out ready for takeoff. We do have to put a 15 gram weight in the nose section, so do remember to do that. Looking at how this build is going together, not really seen major issues so far, but I do believe with this kit we've got this whole, the fuselage section is kind of coming in 3 pieces. We've got the tail end, as you can see here, is going to go into the middle part of the fuselage section, and then we've got the nose section going into the fuselage section. That is potentially, you've got to make sure they fit, right? Because I can just see we're going to have this kind of, you know, join line going around these 3 areas, and yeah, it's you got to be, you know, make sure everything's going to be lining up before you actually glue it, and you may have to do some work. I mean, I don't know how this fits, but you know, when you kind of put a model together in that sort of sense, you can have problems in those areas. Moving along, I mean, we can have sort of like flaps and tail sections and all this kind of stuff, you know, moving, ailerons, that kind of stuff. Not everything, but you do have a few options. Then we have the whole lovely air brake system on this thing, which does look quite cool when you do open them up, but you can also close them if you wish. You do have a bomb bay door as well. I mean, you modders might, you know, go off and sort of have that so you can open it up, because it doesn't seem to give you the option to have it open, right? But the detail is inside the bomb base, so you modders, as I say, might kind of have it so you can open it up, you know, do some cutting and stuff, open up those areas. Looks like a nice bit of detail in the wheel wells. Moving along, everything seems pretty sort of standard. Landing gear up or down. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, cockpit, weapons. It does put a nice little note. I mean, you know, sometimes you kind of build a model, you put the pylons on maybe, and then you kind of come to do the decals. In this one, it does kind of, you know, throw out a little comment, you know, make sure you put the decals down before you put down the weapons pylons and the fuel tank, which is you know, can save you a lot of trouble. I've done it in the past. I'll put pylons on, come to do decals, oh no, I've got to cut up decals, and it can be a bit tricky. So, you know, nice little note there, and that is basically it. Which I've got to say, £25 from Airfix, brand spanking new tool. The detail does look good, maybe a bit out of scale with the recessed panel lines, but still good. We've got no problems with flash, we've got no problems with any kind of problems with the deck, the canopies, or ejector pin marks. You know, you might have to be careful with how you fit it, but I mean, the fit could be good, I don't know, to be totally and utterly honest with you. But yeah, definitely a big thumbs up. And to be honest, I mean, I do kind of love the aircraft as well. It is nice to see how Airfix does, you know, produce these, you know, good old British aircraft that a lot of manufacturers out there don't go and do. So it's sort of like, if you want to do a Buccaneer, you've got to go to Airfix, and I would love to see them do it in a 1/48 scale. I would be well on that if they did that with 1/48 scale, because I don't know, it's a cracking aircraft if you ask me, and it looks like a cracking kit. So hopefully you've enjoyed this inbox review. So until next time, my name's Bob Waldron, this is Genesis Models, and I'll see you next time.